So you want to build your first scale model, you buy the kit, open the box, see hundreds of tiny pieces, a complicated instruction sheet, and a long list of paint colors, and then you quietly close the box again. And well, you see, that's almost exactly what happened to me when I tried building my first model. I ended up choosing the wrong kit, I had none of the correct tools, and I had no idea where to begin. So in this video, I'm going to show you everything you actually need to know before starting your first model kit. How to choose the right kit, which tools are genuinely essential, what you definitely do not need to buy yet, and the biggest mistakes that make beginners give up. And make sure you stay until the end because I'll give you a complete first build shopping list divided into essential and optional items so that you know exactly what to get. Starting off, the first step is simply deciding what interests you. Maybe you're into cars or motorcycles, or you prefer aircraft, tanks, ships, science fiction subjects, or something completely different. There is no single best type of model for beginners. The best subject is one that you are genuinely excited to see finished. That excitement is exactly what is going to keep you going when you reach a difficult or repetitive section. Do not choose a kit just because someone says it is the perfect beginner model. Choose something you actually care about. However, there is one important warning. Being interested in a subject does not automatically mean that every kit of that subject will be suitable for your first build. You might love Formula 1 for example, but a highly detailed F1 kit with exposed suspension, engine components, complicated decals and hundreds upon hundreds of parts could quickly become overwhelming. Your first model should be something you're excited about, but it should also be something you can realistically finish, so give that thought. Before choosing your kit, you should also understand what the scale numbers mean. You'll see numbers such as 1/72nd, 1/48th, 1/35th, or 1/24th, or many more, printed on model kit boxes. All this is it tells you how much smaller the model is compared to the real object. A 1/24th scale car is 24 times smaller than the real car. A 1/72nd scale aircraft is 72 times smaller than the real aircraft. The important thing to remember is that for the same subject, a larger number normally means a smaller model. Scale affects much more than the finished size. Smaller models can have very tiny parts, while larger models may require more paint, more desk space, and sometimes even more assembly. So, before ordering anything, check the finished dimensions of the model because a box can be surprisingly misleading and you do not want to discover halfway through that your completed model will not fit anywhere in your room. This is where choosing your first model becomes slightly more complicated. A lot of manufacturers print a skill level on the box. The problem is that these ratings are not completely standardized, because why would they be? A level 2 kit from one manufacturer might be considerably more difficult than a level 2 kit from another. The rating might not also account for the poor fit, unclear instructions, difficult decals, or the age of the mold. Your safest options are usually starter kits, newer snap fit kits, or models that are widely recommended by other builders. For a traditional model building experience, Airfix starter sets can be a good option. Many of them are designed for beginners and include glue, a brush, and a few small paint pots. This means that you can experience the normal process of assembling, painting, and applying decals without having to purchase everything separately. However, there is good news, because painting is not compulsory for your first model. If you want something even more approachable, look at a snap fit kit. These are designed to fit together without traditional model cement, and many use plastic molded in the correct colors already. For my first model car, I actually went with a pre-painted Aoshima kit. It was still constructed like a normal model, but I didn't have to worry about painting at all. That allowed me to concentrate on removing the parts, following the instructions and assembling everything properly, and in the end, it came out as a really nice model, considering that I didn't have to do any painting. The snap fit kits also don't automatically mean that the model is a toy or that you're somehow avoiding the real hobby. It simply removes some of the more difficult steps while you develop confidence before trying something more involved, as well as usually costing a little bit less and taking up a little bit less desk space. So I see that as a win-win in my book. For your first kit, I would avoid anything containing huge amounts of extra bits like photo etched metal, resin parts, complicated rigging, extremely large decal sheets, or several hundred tiny pieces. You also do not need an engine detail set, metal suspension, carbon fiber decals, or an entire collection of aftermarket upgrades. Those things can come later. For now, your objective is to finish your first model and enjoy the experience. Research, research, research. One of the easiest ways to avoid buying the wrong model is to research the exact kit before ordering it. And I do mean the exact kit, not just another model of the same vehicle or aircraft. Search the manufacturer, the subject, the scale, and the kit number. Look for completed builds, reviews, unboxing videos, and instruction sheets. And now you might be asking yourself, where could you find all these things? Well, luckily for you, there's a particularly useful website called ScaleMates. ScaleMates has information on an enormous number of model kits. Depending on the kit, you may be able to find its release history, different boxings, downloadable instructions, reviews, related products, and photographs of completed examples. This is really useful because two boxes showing the same car or aircraft may contain completely different plastic inside. One could be a modern, beginner-friendly tooling, while another could be based on a much older kit that requires far more work. Looking through the instructions before purchasing also lets you see how the model is assembled. You have to ask yourself, does the number of parts look manageable? Are the instructions reasonably clear? Does it require paint colors that I do not want to buy? Are there complicated sections that might be difficult for a first attempt? 10 minutes of research can save you from spending money on a kit that will stay unopened for the next 2 years or more. Hey, congratulations, you've chosen your kit. Now, you only need a few tools. Trust me, you do not need to buy every specialist tool that you've seen professional model builders using. In fact, buying too many tools at the beginning can make the hobby feel even more confusing and more expensive, and nobody wants that. For your first model, there are only a few things that I would consider essential. The first is a decent pair of sprue cutters, which are also commonly called model nippers. The parts in a model kit are attached to plastic frames called sprues. The cutters allow you to remove the parts without twisting or tearing them away. Please do not pull the parts off the frame with your hands. This can end up ruining the part because you could remove a chunk of the actual plastic or leave stress marks in the plastic itself. You also do not need an extremely expensive pair for your first model. A basic modeling pair will do the job. Just avoid using large household pliers because they are often too bulky for small parts. The second tool is a hobby knife with a sharp blade. This is used to carefully remove small pieces of excess plastic after the part has been cut off from the sprue. A sharp blade is normally safer and more controllable than a blunt one, but it still needs to be treated seriously. Always cut away from your fingers, use light pressure and replace damaged blades. If you are younger, ask an adult to help you with this part. Next, you will also need some sanding sticks or some fine sanding paper. After removing a part, there will often be a small mark where it was connected to the sprue. Sanding sticks allow you to smooth that area without removing too much surrounding detail. If you want, you can buy dedicated modeling sanding sticks, but fine nail sanding sticks can also work just as well when you're first starting. Having a few different grades is useful, a slightly rougher one for removing the excess material and a finer one for smoothing the surface afterwards. After those, a pair of tweezers is extremely helpful for handling small parts and positioning decals. You do not need a huge set. One straight pair and optionally one angled one will cover most beginner jobs. And last but not least, one of the most overlooked ones is a cutting mat. It protects your desk or table when using the hobby knife, cutting tape or working with paint. It can also give you a clean, clearly defined building area. If you don't have a modeling mat, use another suitable protective surface. Do not cut directly onto your desk or table unless you're happy to ruin it. Those 5 tools, cutters, a hobby knife, sanding sticks, tweezers and a cutting mat will take you so much further than an enormous box of specialist equipment that you do not yet understand. The next thing you're going to need is glue, although the correct name for most traditional model glue is plastic cement. Plastic cement does not work in exactly the same way as normal household glue. It softens the surface of the plastic, allowing for the two parts to bond together. That usually creates a strong connection, but it also means that you need to use it carefully. Too much cement can damage the surface detail, leave fingerprints or mark clear parts. For a sand and plastic kit, make sure to use a cement that is specifically designed for polystyrene kits. This includes Tamiya Extra Thin, Revell Contactor and a long list of other options. You may see thicker cement in a tube or bottle, as well as very thin cement that's applied with a brush. Both can work, although thin cement is excellent for running along a seam after two parts have already been positioned together, aka capillary action. Superglue is not normally necessary for a basic plastic model. It is mainly useful for materials that ordinary plastic cement cannot bond, such as resin and metal, so you won't have to worry about it for now. And never use ordinary plastic cement on clear windows or canopies without being extremely careful. Accidental contact can ruin the transparent plastic. For a more user-friendly option, make sure that you use normal white PVA glue. For a beginner, the main rule is simple. Use the smallest amount of glue necessary and check that the parts are in the correct position before applying it by doing some simple dry fitting, where you fit the parts together without cement to ensure that you know where they fit before committing to sticking them together permanently. Hey, if you're still watching the video until now, thank you very much. If you're enjoying, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. Now, you don't have to paint your first model. If you choose a pre-colored or pre-painted kit, you can focus entirely on learning how the parts fit together. However, painting is a major part of the hobby, and basic brush painting is far more approachable than it might initially seem. You do not need an airbrush, a compressor, a spray booth, and 30 different bottles of paint for your first build. Start by looking through the instructions. Most manufacturers provide a paint guide and identify the colors required during the assembly. You also do not necessarily need every single color listed. Some instructions may specify several nearly identical shades for extremely small details. For a first build, it is perfectly reasonable to simplify the color selection. Concentrate on these most visible areas: the main exterior color, the interior, tires or tracks, larger mechanical components, and any obvious details. Water-based acrylic model paints such as Kaleido Colorworks are often a convenient starting point because they are generally easier to clean from brushes. However, you still need to follow the instructions provided with the paint and work in a properly ventilated area. Obviously, to paint you will also need 1 or 2 brushes. A medium-sized brush is useful for larger areas, while a smaller pointed brush is useful for the details. But do make sure that you do not buy the smallest brush that you can find and expect it to paint everything. Extremely tiny brushes hold very little paint and can make larger areas frustrating to cover. The biggest painting mistake that I see beginners make is trying to cover the entire surface with one thick coat. Several thinner coats will usually give you a smoother finish than one heavy coat. The first layer might look uneven, but that does not mean that you should keep adding more wet paint immediately. Allow it to dry and then add another thin layer, and you will see the paint build up color, and it will look so much better than just one thick coat. Your first paint job will probably not look like the models that you see on competition tables or highly edited social media videos, and that is completely normal. Those builders may have years or even decades of experience. Your first model is not supposed to prove that you have mastered the hobby, it's supposed to begin the process. Before you start opening all of the bags, make sure you prepare your workspace. You need good lighting, a comfortable chair, and enough space to place the instructions beside the model. Make sure that you keep food and drinks away from the building area, especially open cups that can spill onto the instructions, decals, or painted parts. A small tray or shallow container is useful for holding loose pieces. You'll quickly find out that model parts have an unusual ability to disappear the moment they touch the floor. Make sure that you also keep your tools in roughly the same position throughout the build. This makes the process feel organized and stops you from constantly searching for the knife, tweezers, or glue. Another really important one is ventilation. It's important whenever you're using paints, cement, spray products, or other chemicals. Read the safety instructions on every product. Just because something is made for models does not automatically mean that it is harmless. So now you've got everything ready, and you might be wondering what is the basic order of the process before you begin. So first, you make sure that you read through the instructions beginning to end. You do not need to memorize them, but you're simply looking for the important decisions, such as optional parts, different color schemes, or sections that need to be painted before they become difficult to reach. And now, just work through the instructions gradually. Identify the correct part on the sprue, cut it away carefully, remove the remaining attachment point, test fit the parts without glue, check its alignment, paint it first if the instructions or assembly sequence require it, and then finally glue it into position. The most important step in that sequence is the test fit. Before you commit to the glue, place the parts together and check that they actually fit. This gives you the chance to remove excess plastic, correct the position, or understand how the connection works. Once the main assembly and painting are complete, you can apply the decals. A clear coat, weathering, and other finishing techniques can improve a model, but none of them are compulsory on your first build. Remember, do not turn every optional technique into another barrier preventing you from beginning or finishing a kit. So before I give you the complete shopping list, here are 5 mistakes that I would avoid. Don't get me wrong, ambition is good, but a model with hundreds of parts and a difficult paint scheme can make the learning unnecessarily frustrating, so make sure that you choose a manageable victory first. You also do not need to recreate a professional modeling studio before assembling your first part. Start with the essentials, buy specialist tools only when you encounter a problem that genuinely requires them. You may have spent several hours now building and feeling desperate to see the final result, but rushing the final stages can undo a lot of careful work. Let the cement cure and let the paint dry first before moving on to the next step. More of the product does not normally create a better result. Heavy cement application can damage the plastic, while heavy paint can cover fine surface details. This is probably the most important one. You will make mistake, every modeler does, even I still do. The objective is not to build a flawless competition model on your first attempt. The objective is to finish it, understand what worked, and recognize what did not, and use that knowledge on your second build, and then your third, and then your fourth, and you will keep getting better. And now, as I promised throughout the video, here is the complete shopping list. For the essential list, I would get a beginner-friendly model kit, a pair of sprue cutters, a hobby knife and spare blades, fine sanding sticks, a cutting mat, a pair of tweezers, plastic model cement, 1 or 2 suitable paintbrushes, the main paint colors required for the model, a container for water or the correct cleaner for your paint, and good lighting. Trust me, this is enough to complete a proper first model. You may already own several of these items, and the starter sets may include some of them. And now for the useful but optional items that could help but you do not need immediately. masking tape, primer, model filler or putty, decal setting solution, a clear gloss, semi-gloss or matte finish, small files, clamps or clothes pegs, a paint palette, pipettes, cotton buds, cocktail sticks, an airbrush and compressor, weathering products, and finally aftermarket detail parts. However, please do not let this optional list convince you that the essential list is incomplete, because trust me, you can do so much with all the items on the essential list. You can build an excellent first model without an airbrush, expensive weathering sets, or a cupboard containing hundreds of paint colors. Your first model does not need to be your best model, remember that. It just needs to be a model that teaches you how to build the second one better, and the one after that even better. In fact, to prove my point, here is my first model next to my latest completed one. If you're playing your first build, leave a comment telling me which kit you are considering. Other builders may also be able to give you useful advice before buying it. And make sure that you subscribe to see more videos just like this one giving you tips, as well as my full build videos where you can see each stage step by step. Thank you for watching all the way until the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one.